I had a lot of experiences when I was getting into healing, and chasing shaman and chasing gurus, and sitting with these Indian saints and whatnot. And you start to see things. You start to notice the synchronicities.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to really find out if you're in the flow is to fully trust the synchronicity and to let it happen.
Let go.
And just let it go.
Yeah.
And
and they'll be there. The synchronicities will be constantly.
Not always. I threw my life to the wind, and lived off a casino for a decade. I didn't always pay my rent on time. It didn't always line up perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But when it didn't line up perfectly, it's because there's a lesson for me to learn there.
Mm-hmm.
So it lined up perfectly for the lesson I had to learn. And then it lined up perfectly later for me to pay the rent on time, or whatever. So it's about learning that. It's about trusting the process, because if you throw your life to the wind and you don't know what's going to happen, then you're open.
Yeah.
And you can and things will happen, But when you try to control your life and set it this way and that way, and you plan it, it just falls apart.
Yeah.
It's like because the universe doesn't line up for that.
Right, and then you have these expectations, and then you get disappointed when they don't work out.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings you back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got enough food?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't think we'd talk about my training so much. One time, I was told a story the other day. I was in Healdsburg, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents had moved to Healdsburg.
Oh.
And they
From
had
where?
Philadelphia. And they had like 3 acres behind Alderbrook, on that kind of out of town a little bit.
Yeah.
And I had a trailer on their property. I was like on the back end of the property.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I was doing basically was going to the beach every day. And I was just take the back roads and go to Goat Rock or whatever, and stack rocks and just sit and meditate, listen. I mean, literally, like just sit and listen to the waves for hours. And so one time I stopped at the gas station to get gas. And the reason I'm going to the beach constantly is that I'm overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm choosing a spiritual life, and yet I'm just totally freaked out about having left my stockbroker job and like all these other things going on. I'm in the gas station, and I handed the guy $10 for my gas. And when I handed it to him, he grabbed my hand. He like grabbed my hand, and so I look up and I'm like, "What?" And he goes, the spiritual path is a very selfish path. Go. And I'm like, "What?" I walked out going, "What?" And I'm like all freaked out, like, "Why did he say that to me?" And all this. But and then I went home and thought about it, because like I couldn't get out of my head for days, And I went back and saw him again and said, "Well, who are you? Like, where's?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm like, I got this job here working in a gas station." He told me that he was living upstairs in the gas station, right? And he's like, "Oh, he has a room up there, I live up there, and all this." And I didn't think anything of it. But this is the gas station that I went to like every other day. Yeah, I never saw him again. He was never there again. And I like looked up at that room, and I'm like, that's not even a real window.
No one lives in there.
There's no room up there. There's no room up there. Like, what is this?
Oh, weird.
And it wasn't until I told the story a couple of weeks ago, and you can see the video online. It's a video I did in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling the story to my friend Irene when I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, that was totally a mystical experience. That guy probably wasn't even real. Because he like showed up to tell me that, and then I never saw him again.
Grabbed your hand.
Yeah, I never saw him again.
You saw him just the one time?
Mm-hmm.
Twice the next day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because you went back. You were gonna ask who it was. Okay.
I went back to ask him to get his name to find out who, because I was like, oh, I got a friend now.
Yeah.
I got his name, which I don't remember.
Whoa.
He told me he lived upstairs, and then the next time I went in to get gas, he wasn't there. I never saw him again.
What do you think he said that? What do you think that message meant? Like, what did you take from that?
I take it to mean that spirituality is about you.
Uh-huh.
For me, it's about me, and for you, it's about you.
Selfish doesn't always mean bad. It has
Selfish
a bad connotation. It's
bad.
not always bad.
No, it's not. It means, spirituality means taking care of yourself. It doesn't mean saving the world.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean fixing your family. It doesn't mean whatever. You know, it has to be for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that really helped because I always felt like I had to do something. So I'm overwhelmed. I'm at my parents' place, and like I'm so overwhelmed. I know I need time off from living. Like I just don't want to pay rent. I don't want. I'm just like spinning, but I didn't know what to do. So I was I was like looking out. I was like looking at the beach for comfort, looking like for the waves. You know, listening to the waves for comfort, stacking rocks and distracting myself with learning how to balance things. And these were all external things, though.
Right.
And this guy telling me that got me to realize that what I was looking for wasn't going to be found at the beach or in stacking rocks. And it wasn't going to be found anywhere past my forehead, you know? So that's when it became easier to decompress and unravel what I had been taught by my body language teacher and by my previous years with the saints and whatnot.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And what really blows my mind is I never considered that gas station experience to be like this high mystical experience until I told the story a couple weeks ago.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, it's like I was telling the story to Irina. I'm like, that's right, I never did see it again. What?
And then there was no room up above.
Yeah, there's a window. Well, do you know at the south end of town? There used to be a Taco Bell in that gas station.
Healdsburg?
Healdsburg, the south end of town.
Oh yeah.
The Healdsburg.
Right by the freeway.
Right at the freeway.
The south freeway.
Yeah, exactly. That gas station. It has the 2-story gas station.
Yeah.
But upstairs is fake.
Right.
That's not a real.
Yeah.
It's just
it
made
was
to look
that
cute.
one. Was a Taco Bell in there then?
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah. I know. That's such a. And now that I've told that story, next time I'm in Healdsburg, I'm going to stop in that gas station and just say, is there a room up there?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.